Another word that seems critical for centurions is prevenient or prevenience. It means preceding, and it's used to mean like prevenient grace as opposed to saving grace. And the idea that I picture it as is if you picture a tennis ball on a mattress, and the rule is you can't touch the tennis ball, but you want to see it move. What you do is you push down on the mattress somewhere near the ball, and then gravity will make the ball move. And so prevenient grace is the grace and the approach that God takes within our hearts and within us before we've extended permission for him to lay hands upon us, would be a way of seeing it. And so when you talk about a centurion working with God for the sake of drawing people to God or towards salvation or towards discipleship, but you don't yet have permission to be overt or to lay hands, you can't touch the tennis ball yet because you're respecting the tennis ball. One of the things that I think God does is he'll push down on the mattress near where we're at. Circumstances will do something. Or in the case of a centurion, maybe it's about how is the culture of the workplace modeled? What does it feel like to be there? How are you going to be treated, not because you've signed up for the creed and code, but because the people who are in charge of making the decisions have a certain perspective on your worth. You bear the image of God, and therefore your good is critical to them. That centurion understands that their best job, if they're going to go to Jesus on behalf of the people who follow them, is to pay attention to what's best for the people who follow them. How is that paralyzed servant going to be well served? Prevenient grace is the grace that is extended to us before we invite God in. And centurions, more than any other force, any other team, more than friends who lower somebody down, more than pastors at a church, more than priests, more than anybody, have the prerogative, it's their obligation to arrange the environment in which the people who follow them spend their time. So if we think in those terms, and we think in terms of what does it mean to have an employee experience that fits with a mindset of prevenient grace, how do you set somebody up so that you push down, so that you roll, so that the thing that seems most compelling, like gravity would be to a ball on a mattress, is what a person experiences. And then they then move closer to a moment where they encounter God, and then they say, yeah, I want you to pick me up. I want to be yours. I want salvation. And I think that's a big liberation for those of us who have grown up in Calvinistic settings where, well, some people are chosen and therefore will be saved. And I think it's a liberation from people who have grown up in traditions that look more like holiness and getting things right. And it's certainly, it is the heart of what's intended in things like DEI efforts and kind of feel-good causes, which ultimately are about structures, but there's no real deity in it, nor is there a particular human value that's asserted and insisted upon in the way the structures are pursued. I think prevenient grace and the idea of prevenience is the through line that brings hope and honor and patience all together, and it's incumbent upon the people who determine the structures in which other people spend their lives to build those structures with that hope at the center.